meditations and our talks, I feel what you feel. Wow. Well, it's the first Sunday of the 7th month. Can you believe that? I mean, time is moving so fast that we really, it's hard to comprehend it. Sometimes you almost feel like a spectator on a train. And you go, oh, there's yesterday. Look, oh, there's last week gone by. You ever feel that? Because that's what's happening now. So much is going on in the world that it's just, man. But we have hope. This first Sunday of the 7th month says two things. It says the 6 months are gone, but it says better than that, 6 months are left. It says we still got 6 months to make it happen, to accomplish. And it's not just about accomplishing, it's more about being. Being that person that you want to be. So in this context, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Unity of Wilmington. Act as though, those online, act as though you're here with us. Get your notepad out, because this is the day that the Lord has sent to make you a new person. Independent of all the baggage, independent of all the things in the past that are not good for you. So thank you so much, our visitors. I was looking and, let's see, I wrote it down. Sydney, thank you for joining us. You're in the right place at the right time today.
I sure hope so.
And I tell you, it's funny, this message, I've been working on this message for a while and it keeps transforming. I guess every time I think I got it, I see something different. And so today, we have a lot of good stuff going on. The message, we have the culmination of our new members drive. And so when we get ready for the announcements, we're gonna have a drawing and we're gonna share some powerful information, because you all did an incredible job in bringing and inviting new people to this church. So give yourselves a hand. So today, are you ready for your freedom today?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That didn't sound like you really ready. That sounds like, yeah, maybe I'm ready, maybe I'm ready. Let's try it again. Are you ready for your freedom today?
You bet.
Yes. All right, I got you. Well, today, that affirmation, I'm ready for my freedom, is something you can carry home with you. Let's say it together. I'm ready for my freedom. One more time. I'm ready for my freedom. Now say it like you mean it. I'm ready for my freedom. Yes. Woo. You know, I use the Bible as a frame of reference because we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And so when we speak things into the atmosphere, those affirmations, we're creating the world. You know, God created the world how he said, in the beginning was the what? The Word. And so what you say to yourself, if there's nothing you take away from here today, what you say to yourself is the blueprint for the experience you live. And so these affirmations can transform you like never before. So our topic, well, number one, our theme for the month of July is Gifts of God. Gifts of God. And when I thought about the theme today, one of the greatest gifts of all is our own independence. There's a beautiful affirmation that we're going to talk about. The theme for our topic is, your independence is in the mirror. And that evolved for a while. I have a bathroom in my studio. There are places on the planet called nodes. And these are places where they're like concentrations of certain energy. And when you're in a node zone, everybody gets smarter. Because ideas come to you. You literally connect in with infinite intelligence. You connect in with the God mind. I guarantee there are places in your home, someplace, when you're in that place in your home, you just feel a certain peacefulness. Anybody who feels that, a certain place in your home, raise your hand. Yeah. And that's maybe your personal node. When you go in that place, it has a vibration that you just sort of. And so when I'm in that bathroom of mine, and when I bought this house, 23 years ago, I bought it because my aunt, I'd come back to Wilmington to take care of my aunt, who I thought was, like getting ready to make her transition, but whatever I did, it worked because she perked up and lived another 17 years. So after about a year, I realized that, and she was already, there was no room in that, when they say new room in the inn, there was no room in the house. Because she and my mother built that house in 1959. So I had to buy a house, and I thought about it. Being a caregiver, you got to be close by. The caregiver is not something you can do long distance. So I bought the house next door, and the people that sold it to me were actually classmates of mine, and they didn't want anything out the house. They literally just said, give me a check, here are the keys, good luck, goodbye. And so I still have the original furnishings, the rugs. I still have that couch, what's that, Naugahyde? I still got the Naugahyde. But one of the great things, the bathroom, the whole wall above the sink is a mirror. And the first day I went in there and looked in that mirror, I felt it. And so that's my node. Wherever your node is, spend time there, become familiar with it. Accept it as your node, and you will be able to communicate on an entirely different level. So this idea of your independence is in the mirror. There's a scripture, John 8, chapter, 32nd verse, and it says this: you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And you see, the thing about mirrors is mirrors don't lie. Remember, what's the one that mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of us all? And she didn't like what she saw. Because mirrors don't lie. Mirrors tell you the truth. And so as we approach Independence Day, this idea of freedom is profound. And there's so much of a big focus on the flags and the fireworks and all the symbols, the parades. But today we're talking about a deeper sense of independence. An independence that no nation can grant. An independence that no person can take away. The events that led up to the Declaration of Independence. I wish they taught history like they used to. When I was a kid, you had to learn that stuff. These days, they tell you, go look it up. Why do you need to know it? You can Google it. And you know what? I'm scared with these kids in their 70s and 80s. I don't know if they're going to have the memory capacity. Because, memory is like a muscle. If you don't practice memory and practice retaining information, you'll look up one day and go like, who's that in the mirror? What's my name? I know him. But in 1776, July 4th, the colonists unanimously adopted the Declaration of Independence. And it was because they were upset. They said, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to read a little piece of it, and it said, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bonds which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth this separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to this separation. And so what they're saying at that time is the Declaration of Independence, they actually had a list of 27 grievances. They wrote them out, all the things that they were upset. We always hear about no taxation without representation. But they were like, you can't bring the troops and make them stay in your house. You can't dissolve Congress without, without our permission. You can't make laws that we're not involved in. 27 grievances. And then it goes on and it says something. Who stole my notes? Where's my assistant? Oh, I don't have one. Yeah, this is what I want to read to you. Now, in Williston, you used to have to memorize it. But it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's who we are. We are created by God with the inalienable right to be happy, to live a good life, to be abundant. And so this day, the message here is we must assert our divine right to be healthy, safe, happy, and live an abundant life. That's who we are. And so the independence we're talking about is independence of the soul, of the spirit, of that part of you that nobody else can touch, that only you can touch it. And so only you can set yourself free. And this independence is not found in the courtroom, in the Congress, but in the mirror. When you look into the mirror, you just don't see a reflection, but you also see a spiritual reality. When you look in the mirror, and take some time looking in the mirror. I've known people that don't like mirrors. And it's because there's something inside they don't like about themselves. But when you begin to really look at that mirror and see those different aspects of you, when you look into your eyes, I've seen people who have sad eyes. And they look in the mirror and they see those sad eyes, but now they can say, I can change that. I can fix that. When we talk about the prodigal son, we often talk about being in the pig pen of life. And so many times we are in our experience of life, we may be in a place that's not a good place. But this idea of your own independence and who you are says that you don't have to stay there. That you can come on out of there. Remember the prodigal son said, in my father's house there's food enough. Even the servants are eating better than I. And then he said something powerful. He said, let me arise. In other words, whatever condition we're experiencing right now, and I'm putting this we because all of us have stuff that we're going through. But whatever that stuff that we're going through is, we have the ability to do as the prodigal said, I will arise and go to my Father. I will arise and go to my source. And that brings us to the first point of this independence that you possess. Point one is that you are made in the image of God. That's a powerful thought. You are made in the image of God. When we look at the unity teachings, one of the things that I love about unity, principle number one says this, we just said it. There's only one presence and one power active in the universe, God, the good omnipotence. So then where do we all come from? If there's only one power, we're created by God. And see, that was what saved the prodigal son. Because the prodigal son said, I don't care about my condition. I know where I come from. I know I don't deserve this. I'm getting out of here. So when you look in the mirror, you see more than flesh. You see the image of God's creation. And God don't make no junk. God don't make no junk. Bad English, but good sense. Let's say that together. God don't make no junk. And so no matter what's going on in your life, what you see in the mirror is created by God. That means that you already have everything you need to get anything you want. Think about this. When the prodigal son left the pig pens and went to his father, what did the father do? Gave him the robe, gave him the reins, gave him everything he wanted. And the same with us. The moment we recognize who we really are, no matter what's going on in our lives, the Father will bless us. I already have everything I need to live a happy, abundant life. Let's say that together. I already have everything I need to live a happy, abundant life. Let's add healthy to that. I already have everything I need to live a healthy life together. I already have everything I need to live a healthy life. You see, this idea of freedom is you declare what you want. The colonists said, get out of here, King George, because we want to run our lives the way we want to run it. We want to have our legislature. We don't want you bringing soldiers here. We don't want you doing all these things. This is what we want. And so the moment you recognize that you're made in the image of God, that means you're created complete. So then the question comes up, well then how did I get in the mess? How did I get where I'm at? How did the prodigal son get in the mess with somebody else's pigs? He wasn't even feeding his own pigs. He got in the mess because of his thinking and his decisions. And so where we are right now is a result of our thinking and our decisions. And so that's point 2. That your thoughts can either set you free or keep you bound. This might be a heavy lesson today because when you're talking about independence, you know, the colonists said something that really, I love that. They said that they commit, listen to this, and for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence of God, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. So this is saying that when you decide to make that choice to go for your own independence, you got to go flat out. When they made that statement, they were not saying, I don't think we can beat the King of England, I don't think we can do this. They were saying, we are betting it all on the outcome. Our thoughts give us the power to change our lives. Unity principle number 3 says, we create our life experience through the power of our thoughts. That's why we love this church so much, because it lays it out so that we can figure it out. I love the Bible, but you know, and a lot of times we get confused in all the rhetoric. But Unity lays it out in thought actions. And so the mirror does not just reflect the outer surface, it reflects your inner beliefs. And you stare and look in that mirror, do that mirror work. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But do that mirror work. You can use that mirror to change your life and create a new you. So when you look in the mirror, do you say, do I see possibilities or limitations? You can choose to say, I see possibilities. When you look in the mirror and you say, do I see my shortcomings? Everything that I'm not. Stand in the mirror. Where's that six-pack? Alan, every time I stand in the mirror, I'm like, where is that six-pack? It's in the refrigerator. No, see, Norman got a better six-pack than I got. So I got to work on that. But when I stand in the mirror, I don't worry about the fact that it's not there now. I know it's going to be there. And that's the power that you have. Whatever your condition is now has nothing to do with your potential. No longer accept the label of other people. You know, other people label us and try to define us. And one of the biggest things we have to do to achieve our independence is to don't accept other people's labels of who you are and what you're about. Because other people always label you based on their own limitations. People who don't who can't fly always criticize those who can. You'll never find a group of eagles talking about turkeys. But you'll find an awful lot of turkeys talking about eagles. I don't want to fly up there. I bet it's cold. There's no food up there. I wait here and they throw food in. How do they eat up there? So your mind gives you the ability to say, nobody's labels, my own feelings of who I am. I define myself by the truth of who I am in the spirit. I'm going to say that and then you repeat after me. I define myself by the truth of who I am in spirit. And so this is the vibration in which we were created, the spiritual vibration. And finally, the third point is that freedom is an inside job. You can't wait for somebody else to set you free. Nobody else can change your condition. Nobody came down to the pig pen and said, man, I know you look unhappy feeding these pigs. Let me help you. It doesn't work like that. That it's always an inside job. That means that you have to take responsibility for creating the freedom that you want in your thinking, in your emotions, in your habits, in your relationships. So when we talk about freedom on the spiritual side, we're talking about overcoming fear, shame, blame, doubt. So that what we're looking for, the revolution that gives us our independence is not one of fighting, but it's one of alignment. So when the prodigal son said, let me go to my father, suddenly he's saying, let me go into my father's house, let me act in accord with my father's rules. I left because I didn't want to do that. Now I'm clear, I'm going back. And so now as we look at this personal independence, we align ourselves with the creation that God created us for a specific purpose, a good purpose. And God don't make no junk. So if there's anything that's not the way we think it should be, we have the power to change it. So let's hit these last steps. How do you claim your independence? One is mirror work. To put together the affirmations that will transform your life. You see, the law of command, scripture says, a mind shall have whatsoever he saith. So don't say anything you don't want to. That's the 11th commandment. And we say terrible things about ourselves. Man, I feel bad today. That's the affirmation of sickness. I'm broke. That's the affirmation of poverty. And so get in front of that mirror and start saying those things that you want to be. I am free. I am powerful. I am full of joy. I live abundantly. So use that mirror technique. I am free. I am powerful. Let's say that together. I am free. I am powerful. Release blame. See, blame is what keeps many of us stuck in that person that you don't want to be. Forgiveness unlocks the prison door. As long as you blame somebody else for your condition, your situation, you can't fix it. It's only when you say, whatever it is, I did it. Reverend Ike said, one day somebody said, well, Reverend, your prayers are awfully long. And he looked at the person. He said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a real short prayer. He said, what is it? Lord, bless this mess. Amen. And so, release blame because forgiveness frees you. See, when we have blame, shame, doubt, all those things, it holds us back. but we're the ones with the thought. We have the key. So release blame. 3, walk in truth. You know, that fifth principle of unity is like you got to act. So when you walk in truth, you speak it, you act it, and you live from the truth of who you are. I am the created